content creation can be an incredibly fulfilling and positive experience for both the creators and their communities. But there's two sides to every coin. Let's talk about the other side.
Another episode of Two Streamers in the Mod Pod. We talk about gaming and streaming related news, and we incorporate it into our lives and we have the conversations for you to discuss. I got right here with me Crunky and Lolo Green. Before we get into the conversation, because I feel like it might be pretty deep, let's talk about you guys. Crunky, what you got going on? Talk to the people.
You know, I've been staying pretty consistent this past month with my streams. I've been grinding Valorant, you know, watching the esports scene, the pro scene of Valorant. Also, my boys 100 Thieves just lost and are now kicked out of the chances of making it to Iceland, which would have been the first LAN tournament for Masters. So that's a little depressing right now, but they're going to come back stronger. It's going to be okay.
You'll be all right.
Haven't had any new exciting things looking forward to, but maybe something's on the horizon, as I'm just reminding myself now in 3 days. Destruction All-Stars is finally dropping their first season and competitive ranked mode. We're gonna have to go check it out for sure. This week we're gonna have to dive back in, go check it out. The only thing I'm hoping for is that it brings some players back, because the player base, for the most part, was pretty depleted. They changed their playlist. I don't know if this was to help the situation of just getting people to at least queue into their main mode, which was Mayhem, but they had two main solo modes, which was Mayhem and Gridfall. And anybody who's watched me play in the month of, March, you know that I was in love with Gridfall. And then all of a sudden, it gets snipped and it becomes like a once a week playlist. So not really too happy about that. Never was big into the Mayhem. They look like their competitive mode is going to be a 4-team 3v3v3v3, and it's going to be based around destruction, which is good because that is part of the game. But we'll see. Once again, the main thing that's hurting it, I don't think it would have died down. The main thing that's hurting the player count is it is solely on PS5. If this thing was a PC and a PS4 game, I think I would have been able to just keep playing, and I would still always be able to find players at least. It clearly would have went down in player numbers, but you'd have so much more people playing. And let's be honest, it has its mechanics, it's great. I don't think it's like super complicated, you know. And it's kind of geared towards a younger age. I'm sure, kind of like Rocket League, I'm sure it was geared towards a younger age, and then it had crazy mechanics, and it blew up into a big esport. Like, obviously, it ain't kids playing it now, or there is, but you got 16 to 20-year-olds, whatever, that are the ones that get legit at the game. But there's plenty of little kids playing the game. Like this, I feel is geared towards little kids, and it's like, how many little kids, obviously mom and dad out there or whoever might have got their hands on a PS5, but how many of them truly have a PS5 that even would play this game? So I don't know. Yeah, the player base is it's at a low. They're going to need to do something to get it to jump up, but also stay there. Like, this is going to get it to jump, but is it going to be a 1 week, 2 week wonder? I don't think so. I want it to if I start to have fun with it again, but I don't think so. Make me a believer, Destruction All-Stars. Make me a believer.
I don't think that game has any chance. I don't think that game has any chance of any kind of
correct
revival or sustaining. At least not a huge. I mean, I'm no shade or anything. I don't think so either. It's not free anymore, right?
Yeah, and it's not free anymore. You're right.
So, wow. If the game, I feel like it had the initial. You had the initial, player base because it was a brand new PS5 game just for PS5 and not many games. I actually don't think it was necessarily a bad thing that they did just for PS5. There haven't been many games strictly on next gen. So I think you have the excitement of this is a game just for PS5 and it's free. I'm going to play it and check it out. And like if you don't capitalize on that, that doesn't mean it can't like one day maybe get bigger. But like you said, when you have that kind of, I feel like the gameplay isn't necessarily unique enough. I feel like it kind of falls into a different, like you said, it's very similar in a sense of Rocket League. Like people who like that game probably would also like Rocket League. And if I'm gonna, what am I gonna play? Rocket League or Destruction All Stars? You know what I mean? So I don't know. We'll see. I hope. I don't ever hope a video game doesn't do well, but I highly doubt. I think that you're gonna play that game, and maybe day one you'll get into matches. I think literally day two you will be in queues for ever. Yeah. Or have to go to the Oceania server or something.
Go to Australia, Europe. Crazy.
Lolo knows about that from Warface. Speaking of.
Yeah. Warface was great. What do I have? I have 2 words. Stay tuned. Because we nuked. I nuked all my social medias, nuked all my accounts for various reasons that we may or may not get into over the course of this episode. But Lolo Green, the Lolo Green experience, if you will, is dead and gone. What was that? Justin Timberlake song? Was that Justin Timberlake?
No. If anything, the Lolo Green experience lives
Justin
on.
Timberlake and Timberland,
right?
Dead and gone. I mean, the experience will live on. The experience.
Exactly. Doesn't the experience live on?
But, listen,
Lolo Green.
This is what you call, right? Like we had, right? Like, so we had Twitter, Instagram, let me think, TikTok, YouTube, and the stream. Perfect, right? So like the Twitter, right? That was like Iron Man. Right, that was like,
what is going on here?
That was like the launch, right? That was actually no. First we had the Twitch account, right? Like that was Iron Man. That was the proof of concept, and it did well, right? Then we went and launched our Instagram, and Instagram was like Thor. Like it was okay, but nobody really loved it, right? Right? Or no, rather Instagram was like the Incredible Hulk. Like it's like whatever, right? And then came the Twitter account. The Twitter account did a little bit better. Right, and that was the Thor. You see what I'm doing? You see where I'm going with this, guys? You see where I'm going with this? And then we created the TikTok, and the TikTok had some good buzz. The TikTok was Captain America, right? The first Avenger, right? And then boom, YouTube. That was the first Avengers. We brought them all together, right? And we had phase 1 of Lolo Green, right? We had the culmination, phase 1 Lolo Green, and now it's gone, right? Now we're putting it in the archives. Right, and we're moving on to phase 2. So this is like, so what am I getting at here? I don't know what I'm getting at, but it's kind of like, this is kind of like my own personal MCU. That's what I'm getting at here. So phase 1, Lolo Green is gone, right? The question is, when am I going to take down Thanos? You know what I mean? And if you guys know what I mean, that makes 2 of us, because I have no idea what I'm talking about. Get me off this microphone.
Yeah, get off the mic. What is that? What? I hope somebody followed that, because it wasn't.
Yo, this man wild. All right.
So I have nothing to promote right now. That was the long way of saying I have nothing to promote right now.
Listen.
Gotcha. Just stay tuned. Got it.
Ideas in the comments for the formerly Lolo Green. How's he gonna kick this thing off?
I was really like, I don't know if I told you guys this, but like I was really hoping I could just, like, if you could just make your name like a symbol. Remember when Prince was like the artist formerly known as Prince, and he changed his name to a symbol? I want that to be, I wish that could be me. I could just be the streamer formerly known as Lolo Green, but you know.
Okay. Can't
really make your name a symbol on YouTube, you know?
Well, you probably can, but what symbol? Like, what the symbol has to mean something. Like, so what was the symbol for? Like, what was the symbol? Like, it has to have a word too. Like, a symbol.
No, it was his name was just a symbol.
Yeah.
But the symbol has a meaning, no?
No, his name was it was just a symbol, man.
So he
it was
made
like his logo, was just a symbol.
Okay. It was just very long-winded, like the artist formerly known as Prince. It's very long-winded.
He legally changed his name to a symbol.
Yeah.
But let's get back on track here.
Yeah. Man.
Phase 2 coming soon.
I completely lost track because of all that. That is wild. All right. The reason that we're about to talk about this actually, and the reason that Lolo had that intro actually stems from something that happened recently. And if you are big in YouTube news, if you watch the kind of like the gossip news and stuff, you may have heard about this. There was a YouTuber by the name of EDP445, and this guy had, and you see, Crunky shaking his head. This guy had, at his height, he had about 2 million YouTube subscribers, and that in itself is crazy because all of us inspire to be able to reach bigger audiences, and to have 2 million people say, you know what, I want to follow this person. It gives him like a valid purpose, you know, it gives him a reason to make content and to do what he, you know, the content that he did. Unfortunately for this conversation, that is not the reason why we're talking about him. The reason why we're talking about him is because, as it turns out, he started to, or allegedly, because he thought he was talking to a girl that was underage. He thought so anyways. As it turns out, it was a sting operation. It was something that another channel by the name of Chet Goldstein orchestrated. Now, we're going to get back to Chet because actually something I didn't tell these guys is Chet Goldstein, actually his YouTube account is also banned for a specific reason. And we'll get into that for a little bit. But so,
Jesus.
Yeah. So EDP, to make this conversation a little bit shorter, EDP thought he was talking to somebody underage. These guys made a little sting operation. They confronted him in person because he thought he was going to meet this girl. And he pretty much admitted to everything.
Before we get into any of the messages right here, I have 84 messages. Sophie is how old? Before, and again, I have it right here. I know the answer, but I just need you to tell me the answer. How old is she?
13.
13, okay. Right. And before we get into the messages, there was sexual content involved, yes or no?
Right.
And you said
correct.
Okay.
He admits to all of it. And you would think it's a open and closed case. Like, you admit to it that's just done. But he starts giving excuses.
Well, I was actually coming out here to pick up a cupcake and then go back home. There was, you know, nothing that was going to be sexual involved because I'm not like that. You know, well, obviously the text messages and stuff like that, you know what I mean?
And it just all ties into what people who have a big audience could possibly misuse that platform. Right? I mean, it's not just the good side. It's because they have a position of power, they're able to ask of their viewers things that normal people wouldn't be able to ask. And because people want to feel like part of a community, people want to feel like they're part of that person's inner circle, they'll do things for that person. Now, the flip side to this is there's also viewers who will try to misuse people in a position of power because they want something out of somebody who has a big audience, right? So real quick, before we get into like how this ties into what we do and like our personal content creation, how do you guys feel about EDP's situation? One of you, Logan.
Well, first of all, haven't seen a picture of the man. He looked like he do probably want a cupcake. But nah, I mean, I think it's sick. I think that someone who does this and has a history of does this deserves no platform, should probably be in prison. And like, there's no place for individuals like that. Like, it's disgusting. And what is the most disturbing part about it is you look at this, like, this is just when he got caught, right? Like he was part of a sting operation. How many times has something like this happened when he hasn't gotten caught? How much further has it gotten and he hasn't gotten caught? Like, that's the true disturbing part about it. It's like, it's not just that he's doing this and got caught doing it. It's like, this is the time he got caught. For someone to, I believe, for someone to have the level of comfort to send the messages and go somewhere to meet, you have that comfort because you've been successful doing something like this in the past. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the most disturbing part to me, that this could have happened a countless number of times, and this is just the moment he's got caught. And I know, like you said, that there's been a handful of accusations or like things like that. Like, again, that's just what we know of or we've heard of. Who knows how many times this has happened, and there's no knowledge of it.
Right. So the girl that he thought he was speaking to was 13, supposedly.
Right.
When he gets confronted, he says, "Oh, it's only happened one other time." He goes,
"Most definitely, this is not your first time either, right?"
Right.
This is absolutely not. How many times have you done this?
This actually is my first time.
You just said it wasn't your first time, and now you say it is. Second time?
What was the first?
So the first time was, so you guys know about the 15-year-old, right?
Yeah.
For me, you guys know me personally. You know, I pay attention to what people say and how people say it. So when he's like, "Oh, you guys know about the 15-year-old, right?" That means, to me, I'm kind of interpreting like, you guys know about that other one. Yeah. But what about all the ones you don't know about? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, y'all know about the 15-year-old, but y'all don't know about the maybe 16, 17, 12. Like, y'all don't know about any of the other ones. Y'all just might know about this one. You know, and like, it's just scary, man. It's sick. It's something that's sick. It's sick.
Yeah, he deleted his main account, but apparently he has a backup, and on the backup, he says that he's deleting his main account. I really hope that he gets like the justice that he deserves. But anyways, Cronky, you have been pretty quiet.
Yeah, I'm listening to you guys. I'm over here trying to do this little
research
math problem.
Oh.
Yeah. I guess.
Well, I was a math major. I could help you.
He said I could.
Not if you see that first episode.
I can't even do that. I mean, it's a stupid math problem. I don't know why I can't get it to work out anyways. Because you're talking about, I'm going to just, I guess, not everything you guys hit on, I obviously agree with, like, and how this is completely wrong. But now I'm going to talk about what I just feel like's been happening in the world in general. Because I've take a look at the population number. And because I don't know where I'm gonna go with this yet. Here we go. So there's 7.9 billion people, right? 7.9 billion people. We got the world population counter. So at 7.862. Whatever.
Do I have to take out a notepad?
Huh?
Do I have to take out a notepad for this?
No, you don't. No,
but you might need to get some Advil.
No, but I'm just trying to get the percentage, right? So there's 7.9 billion, right? In the world. This guy had 2 million followers, right? Mm-hmm. So if any of you want to do the math that I couldn't do for some reason, I couldn't get this thing to work. What percent is that? Right? What percent is 2 million of 7.9 billion?
Very low.
Yeah, it's like 0.04.
Very 0.04. Because I just feel like we don't realize how many people are in the world. And where I'm going with this is that's how many where we talk about DNA. No DNA is the same. 7.9 million people. So many people are wired differently. And yes, we have that majority that knows what's moral when it comes to something like this and what's not. But I can't even I don't know what his content was even around, right? And we're talking about people using things for good. But like, that's the thing, right? Anybody can make a YouTube account. Anybody can do all this stuff. And until it gets big and then somebody does something crazy like that, you can be reaching 2 million people, which is a lot. But when we look at it from the world population standpoint, it's like pennies, right? It's just sad. I guess what I'm trying to say is that there's so many of us, and this is what I say with everything. There's going to be so many different personalities, uniqueness, and it's just sad that clearly some people do or feel the way he does. Like, to do that, even though a majority of the world, right, knows that that's not right. And then the question we can all ask to is like, oh, now what? Is this going to turn into, like, not to get way too like into this, but like, can he start writing this off as a mental problem, or, oh, he has an issue? Like, how does one figure this out, right? But as far as him and what he did, you guys hit on it. It's wrong. I mean, these guys clearly did their little sting operation and caught him in 4K, as the kids would say nowadays, right? Got caught in 4K. I don't know. I just, whenever we start saying numbers and followers and everything, I just think about, and then everyone's individual thoughts. Like, there's so many different people, and then for every different person out there, there might be that person they can connect to that is an influencer or a social media presence or has an account for their interest. Like, think about the thousands and millions of different interests people have, right? And that's what we try to do, to try, like, what's going to propel us? What's going to catch on for us to take off that people aren't doing yet? And then it's like someone finds it. There's a little crowd for that, and it just grows. It's crazy. I don't know.
I think it's wild to sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I think it's wild that you make content to have like-minded people around you, right? That's the whole purpose of why we have conversations, is that we hopefully get like-minded people who want to have conversations or agree with us, even if they don't agree with us, to just have the conversation.
Or the people that purposely look for confrontation or come here, right? Like, then there's that side of it too. Like the viewers, when you're talking about, there's that viewership. What do you get out of, I'm about to go troll this person? Like, oh, here we go. You're a loser. Like, what are you doing? You're streaming to 2 viewers. Like, you that bored with your life that you came to my stream to tell me I'm a loser? And I like, well, I thank you. Like, I don't like.
I know we're starting to veer into a different aspect of this, but I mean, just the way I feel about it, and you like, this is the math equation for me. You have an adult male,
right,
plus underage girl, not even, forget underage, a child, plus inappropriate equals he should burn in hell. That's just how I feel about it.
Right.
But that's my point. My sad truth is, let's just say, there's probably I'm not even saying it's his 2 million followers, just 2 million people in the world that are probably like do the same thing. So like,
yeah, I mean, hell got room.
What?
I said hell got room.
Oh, okay. I thought you said something else.
There's always open rooms.
So here's the crazy part. There's two crazy parts. There's 2 crazy parts that are probably gonna piss you guys off, but it is what it is. Just what I see. There's a bunch of, and I haven't watched them yet, but there's a bunch of YouTube videos about this. You can't find the actual original content because it got deleted.
Yeah.
But there's a bunch of YouTube videos about it, and there's a few of them that say, and I haven't watched them, but they say this is the reason why EDP is gonna get off on it. Like, he's not gonna serve anything for this. So there might be something behind how it was done that might have been illegal.
I was just about to say, what, because pedestrians are the ones that ran the sting option. Like,
so, and then the update on the actual channel, which I told you guys about, I was going to say, is Chet Goldstein was, because now that channel is completely deleted, was the channel that this was on. Come to find out, and this is also why it's not just about the present. It's also, unfortunately, it's also about your past, right? Like, anything that you put on the internet will be found. And that kind of ties into this, but also kind of ties into what we've been going through, you know. So Chet actually had YouTube videos and just videos posted maybe on other social platforms where he was, how do I put this? He was discriminating against people of a different color. Like really bad. Like
For jokes?
No. Like dropping the N-word constantly. Actually, it's funny that this part I found out and it actually pissed me off. It actually pissed me off. He actually put a post up somewhere where he made fun of Kobe Bryant's death. And that type of stuff, it's just so, what is the point? It's so weird that there are people out there who find that is something worth doing.
Some people don't have a moral controversy. Compass. Some people don't have. Some people lack a moral compass and lack empathy. Right? Like, so it's not hurting their feelings, and it's going to give them clout, and it's going to get them clicks, and it's going to get them views, and it's going to get them money, and that's enough. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter that I'm hurting somebody's feelings. It doesn't matter. Like, I don't have any morals where it's like, this is wrong, regardless of what the result's going to be. Right. So, and I can't put myself in the shoes of other people. Like, I think it's as simple as that. It's not my dad that passed away. It's not my husband, brother. That's not my daughter. That's not my sister. You know what I mean? And it's just, people lack that empathy to be able to put themselves in someone else's shoes, and they lack a moral compass of that there's things that should be more important than just trying to try to make a buck or to try to get a little notoriety. Yeah.
But it's also weird that same person who does that is the same person who puts effort into trying to find and take down people who, somebody, like EDP. Isn't that a little weird?
But it may not be weird when you consider, right? He might not be doing it because he truthfully cares about getting people like righting these wrong or catching bad people. He might just be doing this because, and in fact, I believe I was just reading an article. I literally just X'd it out. So I'm going to try to pull it up, but he only did it because like he started this whole channel because he saw somebody else had a similar channel and it was getting a lot of views. So he figured he'd give it a try. Like, that's how he started his whole thing. It had nothing to do with actually wanting to do anything. Like
what you want to do.
He created on insider.com. Shout out to Insider, my secret source. He created the Predator Poachers YouTube channel in 2019 after watching similar YouTubers and experimenting with setting up his own stings. So it wasn't like he's like, man, like this is something I want to do, and did it. It was like, oh, other people are doing this, let me try it. You know what I'm saying? So, like, and maybe, listen, I don't know the guy. Maybe he is doing it for the right reasons, but it's equally fair to assume he's not when you say how he's made content such as he's made in the past.
I mean, granted, we're on social media now and we're on the YouTube platform, right? Trying to reach people and talk about this. But this, I mean, just growing up in it, this is such a double-edged sword, man. Because now, back to the numbers game of the pot, you couldn't reach people like this. So now you are constantly exposed to stuff going out there, and people either connect to it, like, oh, wow, there actually are people that think crazy like me. And now it's like, it gives me an out to like come out. Or I don't know. It's just weird, man. Social media and like this whole exposure, anything can get exposed in seconds now. And before, rather than if you just living your independent life and there was no Twitter or Instagram, like, all right, something happened, the town or the people here know that's it. Like, I don't know. It's weird because I just feel like it going out there also then either triggers someone up, like it makes someone else feel like, oh, I'm like that too. Or oh, I'm gonna go do something like that too. Because now look how popular this got. Like you said, cloud chasing. Like how many trends of things have we seen people try and copy because they thought it was funny or it'd get them popular, but in reality, it's also so wrong. Like it's so bad. I don't know.
So is this? I mean, obviously, this isn't something that you guys haven't thought of before, but it kind of also brings it to the forefront a little bit. Like, are you guys afraid of people misusing you or like coming in? Like how, or I shouldn't say are you guys, because I'm sure you are, but like how much do you think about like people coming in and trying to get something out of you as people who make content?
What do you mean?
Guess,
like, I'm sorry, go ahead, Grunky.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what he said. Like, if so, say wait, because
like,
you threw me off with that last sentence. And then
like when you make content and maybe somebody starts talking to you, like, okay, you guys stream and people start talking to you and they're like overly friendly. Is there part of your mind that's like, what do you want? Like, are you here genuinely or are you here for another reason?
100,000% for me, at least. Like, because especially when you're small, right? Or in this sense, I'm not using the word small because I don't think, right? Just a small community, right? I know I don't have that many viewers, or I know I have, my friends and family that always tune in. And thankfully, a few good viewers now that I feel like are there genuinely. Yeah. But exactly, since it's not a big, when people come in, it's just like, okay, this really, like, that's what I want. But at the same time, you're like, really? Like, why now? Like, how'd this person really get here? They're here for this? All right, they're really here for me. Like, or what do they want? Or are they going to try and bait me into doing something or saying something wrong and then be like, oh, look what this guy did. Like, you're right. There is always that worry in the back of your head when it happens, kind of when that situation arises.
Yeah, I was just curious because, like I said, you guys are much more out there than I am. This is pretty much my social platform for me. So
no, you're out there, bro. You're right there in the mod.
Honestly, that thought has never crossed my mind.
That's funny.
See,
like, what are people trying to get from me? Like, I don't. That's never even remotely crossed my mind. It's like, if you tune in or you consume my content, you like it, like, cool. Like, if you don't like it, like, I get that too. But like, I'm never thinking like, oh, is this person here because they want something from me? Like, because I mean, truthfully, I think like everybody who watches wants something out of you. Like, that's why you watch any content. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing, but it's like they want to be entertained by you. That's what they like. The way I look at it, that's what they want from you. They want you to entertain them. Now, if they decide that, oh, like, I can't, like, you better do what I want you to do, or else, it's like, well, okay, you could bounce. Like, I'm good with that too. Like, I'm not concerned with losing people that are negative or toxic, or whatever word you want to give it. But like, I'm never concerned like, oh, are they here because they really like my content, or do they have an ulterior motive? Like, that doesn't really cross my mind.
I guess the biggest thing that I've seen examples of are like people come in and they try to be friendly for a while and then they're like, hey, by the way, I'm streaming. Like, you literally just trying to be friendly because you wanted something like that.
Right. Like, you wanted me to raid you. Yeah, you wanted me to raid you. You wanted me to have people follow. But like, and for me, if that happens, it's just like, it doesn't bother me. Like, for me, it's just one of them things where I'm just like, nah, G, like, that's not how this works. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe you catch me in a good mood. I'm just like, yeah, go follow him. Like, whatever. Like, but I don't really like that stuff. Doesn't really upset me or worry me.
Yeah, from my point of view, because to put it out there now, the way you're saying it, it's not like it haunts me. It's just there, like, it's just always in the very back, like, deep. Like, I think about it, like, or after I'm done with the stream, like, oh, I wonder if that person was there. Like, but it's not like, I'm actively thinking about it or it's affecting what I'm doing at the time.
Yeah, you made it sound like you were losing sleep.
Yeah, no, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, the thought had, like, I've always thought of that. Like, it's always in my head. Like, yeah, it could always happen. Like, it's there. Like, but yeah, it's not like I'm actively thinking about it or it affects me while I'm even on giving content or whatever. But yeah, you just never know with people, man. because of that reason. Like, this is, bro. You can sit behind. There could be nobody knows you. You could just do it. That's what people think, right? And they just like, oh, I could do whatever I want. Say some crazy thing. Oh, I made a ridiculous email. Have this account to it. There, no one knows it's me. People are crazy.
And unfortunately, I feel like it's not a bad thing. I don't want to make it sound like it's a bad thing, but I feel like streaming specifically and Twitch, because that's mostly where you guys stream. It's mostly made up of people who feel lonely. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but like the reason why a majority of people join Twitch is because they're most likely alone and they're trying to join a community that they like, for instance, like a game. Like, I know the first time I joined Twitch is because I was playing Warframe and I was like, I want other people who play Warframe, that way I can find somebody to play with. Like, that's the main reason why I joined, right?
Yeah.
And look how difficult it is. Like, I've told you guys about Warframe and you guys still haven't played it. So
hey, listen, I've just had some time free.
I played for 30 minutes, bro. Don't get up.
Don't say maybe you will. You know, goddamn. Well, anyways,
no. Now with all these new games coming out, I can't even keep up with the games I have now already.
Even though I
know. That's what I'm saying. I can't even keep up, but I just talk like, oh, I'm gonna buy Returnal. Like, no, I'm not. I don't even know what that game's about.
I might buy that game today. But continue your point, KD.
So I feel like people join communities, and this is the kind of the double-edged sword of being a streamer. People join your community because they probably feel alone, or they feel isolated in whatever they're doing, so they join your stream, and then sometimes they feel like you're more than a friend. There's some people who feel that way, and that's where it gets a little weird. Or sometimes they feel like maybe if I donate money, they'll like me more, or maybe if I do this, they'll like me more, and then you reciprocate it as a good gesture, but they reciprocate it as, okay, now I'm really his friend, or like, now we're really close friends. Like, there's that mindset. So it's always like, you got to be careful when people come in and they start doing that type of stuff. That's my opinion anyways.
100%.
Nah, yeah, I agree with that. I do think that there are some people who join a Twitch community, or any kind of community for that matter, whether it be on YouTube or whatever, and they feel like this, like, it's like they cross a line where it's like they feel like they have a right to what you're doing,
right?
Or they have a right to dictate what you say or what you do next or what you play, and it's like, that's an unhealthy thing, and it's like, no, like, obviously that's not how this thing works. But so yeah, I definitely hear what you're saying, and I definitely understand that. I don't know, it's weird. It's almost like you feel bad saying it's weird, because it's like how do I word this? I want to say I feel bad, but I don't want that to come off as like a negative thing. But it's like that's not something that I experience. You know what I mean? Like, it's not. I don't feel like I need to, and I have, like, I'm the biggest Dr. Disrespect fan there is. Like, I love Dr. Disrespect. I'm probably not the biggest fan. I don't have all his merch and stuff, but I'm a pretty big Dr. Disrespect fan.
I was gonna say, there's definitely some more.
I never watched Dr. Disrespect. I don't know, man. I don't know if there's a bigger fan of the two-time, but I don't ever feel like I have any right to anything or any say, any like entitlement to anything that he says, like, you know what I mean? Like, or on a much lower, like, I would say my second favorite streamer is probably Crunky. I never watch Crunky stream and feel like I have any say, or like it's his stream. You know what I mean? I'm just along for the ride.
Shucks.
And sometimes that ride is really freaking slow and he won't push in Valorant. But guess what? I'm buckled in.
Defense. I'll push on attacker side. I'm not pushing on the defense unless it's necessary or we get a pick. Come on, dog.
That's why Crunky's 1-4 in the last 5 matches.
Nope. I'm 3-1 right now in the new season, so don't hate on me, dog. I played one game last night. I was playing so bad, but the team forfeited. We were up. We lost the first 3 rounds, and we went up like 10 or 9-3, and these kids quit. I was like, okay.
Just to wrap this episode up, a PSA to everybody, either whether you're a viewer or a streamer, is just to keep in mind like how you present yourself, and keep in mind how people are presenting themselves to you. Because I feel like as a streamer, if you don't have a support behind you, you may end up getting popular, and you may take it. You need the support to be able to check you sometimes, to say, this may not be a good avenue to do this with your community or whatever. And as a viewer, you have to understand that these people are doing it for entertainment, and they could be your friend. That's perfectly fine, but just be careful how they appreciate you being there. I think that's probably.
And you know what? Something else I thought about too, to piggyback off of that, is obviously we all talk about the keyboard wizards or the people, the Twitter fingers. Live your life like it's in person, okay? Because like anything you do is still affecting you. For that, whether it be the viewer or the streamer, like just because you're doing it on the internet doesn't mean you're actually like. Don't think you're untouchable. Put it that way. Just think about it if you had a face-to-face interaction with people, and maybe that's something else. The social experience is something we could talk about on next episode or something. I want to talk to you guys about. We'll see.
Next time on Dragon Ball Z.
That means it'll take about 5 episodes to get anything content worthy.
I mean, I just, anybody who's watching this, anybody who supports the 2 streamers of the Mod Pod, thank you. We appreciate you.
Absolutely.
But just understand, don't be like some of the people we're talking about. I guess that's the best way to put it. We appreciate your support. We want you to keep watching. Hit that like button. Talk to us in the comments. We'll answer comments. We'll address some of the things, but just understand that there is a separation between what we're doing and you being a supporter.
And that goes for all content, not just us. I'm sure it goes for everything that you watch, everything that you see. So yeah, like you said, if you enjoy the content, please subscribe, like the video. If you enjoyed the conversation, let us know in the comments about the conversation, how we did, if you agree or disagree. And that's the end of the episode. So like we always say, play the games you like, stream content that's worthwhile, and keep having conversations. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
Peace.